It seems that we'll need a special summit on Nigerian universities in this country in order to ensure that universities are able to take care of themselves and not allow government to put its fingers in the universities, like paying school fees and finding its own way of sourcing itself, because it seems to me the whole problem boils down to how much money the universities have. And when you are talking about, I want you to address that, as well as the issue of whether the universities should not strike out on their own to, decide what their curricula should be. Why should Ife, for instance, have the same curriculum with Ibadan or with Lagos when they can do it on? When I was at Ife, the literature department used to say that they had a different program from that of Ibadan, and that they were boasting about how their own was different from that of Ibadan. Universities have their own traditions. We can't make them unitary under one blanket and say this is how to go. Every university should strike out and so on. Harvard moves is a different way. Oxford moves a different way. Cambridge moves a different way. They have their own areas of strength and their own engagement with the future.
I agree with you that the summit is long overdue, and I said the basic building block for that summit is already being operationalized. So we will definitely get to see that summit very shortly. I also agree with you that universities need to develop their own unique character. What NUC did was to say, let us have a core curriculum that captures between 60 and 70% of what skill sets that as a nation we need to have in this particular discipline. The remaining 30% will be layered upon by the university to bring in their individual idiosyncrasies, like you have said, in terms of their focus. So if, for example, University of Ibadan Economic School wants to focus on macroeconomics, that will now be the thrust of the 30% that they will build in their curriculum. If Obafemi Awolowo University, on the other hand, wants to focus on monetary economics, so that if you graduate with a degree in economics from Obafemi Awolowo University, everybody knows that your strength will be in monetary economics, then they are free to do so. So it is a mixture of the two types of scenarios that you talked about. But the agreement across the board from the university system is that we must have some form of uniformity. For example, we need any student who is graduating from the Nigerian university system to have an understanding of the language of communication, technology skills, financial literacy skills, digital skills, the philosophy of science, the history and culture of the peoples of Nigeria. These are all core generic curricula that the student must pass through. And then the universities, each university will now come and say, okay, this is what I want to specialize in, and then you take it up from there. But for the summit, I agree completely with you that it's been long overdue. We've started working on the background, and this committee that has been put together will definitely be the building block that will now take it up and come out with far-reaching decisions of, say, how can we as universities take our own destiny into our own hands. It's not only about funding, because the quantum of funding you get, what are you using it for? What is your research focus? What is your research to market strategy? What are the experiences of the students on your campus? I was getting information from some American universities that said from the moment you get an admission letter that this university has admitted you, somebody from that university will call you and congratulate you for your admission.
Right.
And begin to give you information and insights of what to expect. The day you step on campus, if you call that number, there will be somebody to meet you, to take you around personally, to show you around the campus and what to do and things like that. So that the students' experience on that campus is second to none. We've also seen that there's a nexus
I'm
between
afraid we have to leave the conversation here now.
Students' experience and their transition to becoming alumni. If you had a very bad experience on campus and you graduate and you move on, and that university comes back to say, please come and support us for this thing, you will not be favorably disposed to doing so because of the experience you had. So these are other major issues.
Prof, can you hear me? We have to leave the conversation now. We have to leave this conversation now, but we must thank you, Secretary General, Committee of Vice Chancellors of Nigerian Universities, Professor Yakubu Aboki Ochefu, for your time on The Breakfast Show.
Thank you very much, viewers.